It's Wednesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Obiajulu in the building. How you doing?
Excellent morning, ladies. So today is the International Day of the Girl Child.
Yes, it is.
Yes,
it is.
I'm wishing every girl out there long life, prosperity, good health. So you need long life to reap the benefits of all the hard work. I'm wishing them excellence. I want them to know that their needs, their goals are valid. I want them to understand that they have support. I want them to also believe that they can work together in that clique. So growing up, I've always thought that I didn't relate well with girls. It was more of the opposite sex. But as I started x-raying my life, I realized that sometimes the problem we have is lack of communication. We don't know how to resolve conflict. Our parents didn't really teach us how to resolve conflict. So if anything happens, no, girls, wahala is too much. You need to understand that if you work on yourself, you constantly build on your character. Some of those issues you have, you can always talk it. And you see that women support each other, girls support each other. I've been blessed to have women supporting me, being my backbone, showing that full support. So as a girl, don't assume that your sex is the problem. Just work on yourself, being a good person, having a good character, and the sky is your starting point.
Hello, Ronke. How you doing?
Good morning, Mo. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
So I'd like to toe her line. And this morning I did a beautiful tribute to girls all around, and so many people have been asking if they can share. I decided to talk about our emotions as girls. I don't want anybody to assume that girl is spoiled, that girl is pampered, that girl is proud. Hey, just take time to understand our emotions and we'll be fine. Yeah.
That's nice. How you doing, Mara? That's an important part. Emotional. You're too emotional. How do you think you're crying?
Yeah.
Understand it. Fantastic. I like that.
Okay. I'll make it a hot topic.
Okay.
I'm just happy to be here. Is it Wednesday?
It's Wednesday.
Yeah.
I love your outfit. Full dress.
Thank you. Yeah.
Is it backless?
No.
When I saw the jacket, I'm thinking maybe it's backless.
The jacket was to just give it some color. So it wasn't dull.
That's
So I just
nice.
give it some
Stylish
color.
you.
Yes,
Thank you.
Yeah.
So yesterday, my son didn't come back from school till a few minutes to 8 p.m. The traffic yesterday was horrendous. At the time, my daughter also, because when she's picked, they take her straight to pick up my son. But it was so bad. I had to tell them to, turn around.
Yeah.
Even turning around took them like 4 hours. In fact, there was a point she got down and they had to walk home. And my son didn't come back till almost 8 p.m. And I was, I felt really sorry for them.
Yeah.
But this morning, they picked themselves up and ready to go again. I'm like, Lagos children, child. It teaches you resilience.
Yes, it totally does.
Lagos.
Totally
So,
does.
yeah. I hope, but this morning was sorted out.
Talking about sons, my son came to me, and he was quite worried that, he wasn't being bullied, but he just felt that they were harassing him because he doesn't like football. His friends feel that, you don't know Messi. He's such a noob. He feels really bad that, Mom, is there something wrong with me?
Is it the youngest one?
No, my girl, the 9-year-old.
Okay.
I said, bros, you better go and like football.
Why?
I mean, I don't understand, so I don't know how to have the conversation. Do I allow him not like football, or do I say, listen, it's a boy thing, you get me? Because I told him, this weekend we're going to try to watch some football. You have to know who says, I don't know who Messi is. Like, hey, you're going to have to know who Messi is. Ronaldo, I have no idea. I said, well, myself, I have to start learning because my husband doesn't even do football at all. But I think for his age, the kids want to talk about football, and you're a boy, you should be in that circle.
Falling under the pressure.
I don't know.
For pressure.
But it's
Let him stand out and stand tall
Yes.
and proud.
Find out
Story.
love.
It's a hot topic. It's a hot topic.
Find out what he loves.
It's a hot topic. I think it's a discussion that is worth, because I think he should also, you don't have to love football,
But at least know about it,
understand,
yes,
because when boys are having a
yes,
conversation, you don't want to be left, you should have an idea.
Do you want to understand because they have pointed it out that you don't know it, or you just want
He
to
knows about football. He knows
find
football
it
exists.
on your own?
Anyway, as I said, it's a potential hot topic. I think parents need to discuss this because we need to get to the bottom of it. But let's first go to the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
All right, we're going to start with the nation. IMF, growth coming with Tinubu's economic policies. Airlines to get big boost. Sylvia remains our candidate, says APC. Federal government now to build concrete roads. President directs immediate action plan to combat flooding. General jailed 7 years for stealing $2.1 million and 1.6 billion naira. Social investment may return to presidency, and where 19 others await results in Liberia's poll. Okay, which story are we starting with in?
The Minister of Works, Dave Umahi, has said that federal government roads will henceforth be constructed with concrete rather than asphalt. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu also approved his proposal, and the minister, told reporters about it yesterday, and he explained that the president was convinced of the advantages in building concrete roads, which the minister said is cheaper and even more durable. The minister also alleged that there are saboteurs in the ministry who are conniving with some contractors to frustrate his plans, and he's vowing to flush them out and hand them over to anti-corruption agencies. He spoke at the villa with the president in Abuja, and he said when the roads are concreted, they will not only lessen demands for foreign exchange by contractors, but also create employment opportunities for thousands of Nigerians. And, alleging that the saboteurs in the ministry were conniving with contractors to use unadulterated bitumen to build the roads and inflate the cost of projects. And so he has also advised the contractors that are in the habit of securing up to 20 contracts at the time to stop. They are going to monitor all of this to ensure that they are able to use the proper materials to construct some of these roads. So this is what we have to be looking out for. Now we're going to be having more concrete roads. And he went ahead to talk about all the roads infrastructure that our former President Muhammadu Buhari, inherited, that he had worked on. He spent a lot in the infrastructure, but at the end of the day, they found that some of these contractors were going behind to give us less than the quality that was paid for. Going forward now, they are going to monitor the quality to ensure we have concrete roads.
Okay, let me do the major headline. So IMF, there was a meeting in Marrakesh in Morocco, where IMF was saying specifically that Nigeria is on the right path of growth with the bold reforms of the Tinubu administration. They specifically said that they welcome the initial bold reforms because they see them as paving the way towards a stronger and inclusive government. That's the mission chief, Daniel Lai, said the president moved quickly with these vital changes. And also they're saying that the economic counselor who was saying that it was quite optimistic that the reforms will accelerate Nigeria's economic growth. Our minister was also there, Wale Edun. He specifically said that they believe that efficiency in tax collection, payments of due obligations, and cost-effective expenditure will help strengthen the economy. IMF has also just welcomed the reforms our president has taken so far and said that they are optimistic, and in the coming months, coming years, we'll see a strength in our economic growth.
That's good. So here we have the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development. He met with the airline operators of Nigeria yesterday in Abuja, and they said in the meeting he raised the hopes, of those in the industry. He says that all airlines that comply with set rules will enjoy full support from government. He said that this support will include access to single-digit loans to boost their operations. Also, we had United Nigeria Airlines. It's a new one which has been admitted into the International Air Transport Association family. UNA's admission into IATA was conveyed to the chairman and Chief Executive Prof. Obiora Okonkwo in a letter. So in that meeting, the stakeholders of the AON also, talked about some of the challenges that they face, and they said some of them are foreign exchange, jet A1 fuel, cost of capital and funding options, infrastructure, taxes, fees and charges, as well as some government policies. And they also proposed some of the solutions for these issues. They're looking at for licenses for jet A1 importation and distribution through strategic partnership and immediate review of all industry taxes, fees and charges. Anyways, the minister says that he does not want to operate as a ghost. One of his policies is he operates an open door policy. Whatever challenges that they have, they can reach out to him, and these are things that they will work together to just make sure that that industry, thrives.
All right. Okay. Story in Nation, should we move on? The Punch. Naira plunges to 1,025 kobo per dollar as job losses loom and factory shut down. NCPC suspends pilgrim to Israel. Lagos contingent returns. Army General jailed 7 years, ordered to refund 3.7 billion naira. 18 parties jostle for 5.4 million votes in Kogi, Imo, Bayelsa. NECO indicts 93 schools for cheating. Blacklists 52 supervisors. Inflation to slow Nigeria's growth to 2.9%, says IMF. Senate condemns 2.3 trillion oil theft probe security agent. And flood kills 45, displaces over 170,000 persons in 13 states, says NEMA. Okay, which story are we starting with in Punch?
NECO indicts 93 schools for cheating, blacklists 52 supervisors. Okay, so the NECO released the result yesterday, which showed a record of about 61.60% of candidates who scored 5 credits and above in maths, English, and at least 5 credits. But somehow they also found out that there are 52 supervisors from about 93 schools across the country that had issues of poor supervision, aiding and abetting. I mean, we've been hearing this for a very long time. But the good news is those guys will be invited for questioning, and immediately afterwards appropriate sanctions would apply. I pray they get just one school. And also we had about 1,543 candidates with special needs that sat for these exams as well.
We have the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA. They said that they had a meeting on Tuesday with the Water, Sanitation and Hygiene Emergency Working Group. And they were just talking about the flooding that there's been experienced by 13 states in our country as a result of the release of water from the Lagdo Dam by the Cameroonian authorities. Sadly, they say 45 persons have died, while 171,545 persons have been displaced, with farmlands and other properties destroyed in affected states. As of October 7th, they said the update is they give an assessment of the flood situation in Adamawa, and they said it impacted a lot of people and communities, and so they're recommending that all states activate their flood response plans, and also, they're also waiting for other stakeholders to see what sort of support they'll be giving these areas. But also the Water, Sanitation and Hygiene Emergency Working Group also needs to be involved in all these emergency situations. As we know, when flooding happens, displacement happens, issues with water, sanitation and hygiene is also an issue.
Yeah. Okay, let me take the pilgrims. So the Nigerian Christian Pilgrims Commission on Tuesday announced that all pilgrimages to Israel and Jordan will be suspended as a result of the ongoing war between Israel and Hamas. The operations head, that's Abu Kwanachi, was saying that the attacks in Israel obviously has made it very difficult for them to. I think people are actually paid already for pilgrims, because even my husband was interested in going this December, and he was ready to make plans. Say, even if the war ends tomorrow, he's not going again. I said, but it's what.
I wonder how Nigerians go with their full chest.
So anyway, so according to the report, as many of you know, Hamas had attacked Israel on Saturday. About 900 people died instantly, and then since then Israel has retaliated with bombarding Gaza, and so far I think I called this report this morning, about 687 have been killed so far, and the war is ongoing. So we're happy that the Nigerians, 310 Nigerians, I know two people that were there. Brown called them, check when I hope you guys are alive, they're fine. So I'm happy they came in yesterday. 310 of them landed Nigeria yesterday, and they were really excited. The governor was happy to receive them, and at least they're safe, no issues. But all pilgrimages to Israel currently has been suspended until further notice for obvious reasons. Any other story in Punch?
Yes, I have. Nigerian Employers Consultative Association and manufacturers are lamenting the falling value of the Naira. And they are warning that if nothing is done, it will lead to shutting down of factories and a lot of people will lose their jobs. So according to the report, said the Naira fell further on Tuesday as it exchanged for the dollar at a parallel market between 1,005 to $1 and 1,025 to $1. And this, continued since the federal government allowed a free float of the national currency against the dollar and the global currencies, which happened in June. So the decline is making manufacturers struggle to get raw materials. And more companies are planning to sack their people, shut down because it's not working. Bureau de change operators too are complaining. Say they get the dollar for like 1,000, sometimes 1,010, and they have to sell for like 1,015, which they don't know when it's going to stop. If it's ever going to come down again, it just keeps, going up. Now, the manufacturers are also saying that, the forex crisis will likely kill many industries. By the time they buy, they are not able to sell. People are not buying because there's no money to buy. And even when they buy, they are not pricing. You're not getting commensurate to what you have put in to manufacture the product.
All right, we're also going to break. When we come back, we continue with our review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned.
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table.
Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome the one who can make time stand still forever, Mr. Kelechi Amadi. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good, my brother.
You love that intro, Abi.
It was great.
Okay,
Thank you.
We try like that.
Thank you.
Now my question, which I feel is a cheap question.
Oh, go ahead.
What does ISO stand for?
That is it. I think I'll drink.
No, you're joking.
I'm not joking.
Kelechi Amadi. No. Shay, you didn't whine me. You're whining me now.
I think I'll drink.
Huh?
No problem.
Okay.
I've always known it as ISO. I never bothered to know what it means. I know what it means, but I never bothered to know what the acronym is. Tell me the brand of camera that I use, so much so that I even became an ambassador. That's very easy. It's out there.
It's supposed to be,
Yeah. I just said, let me give you this one as a token of my appreciation.
Sony.
Drink!
I'm not done. You did not say final answer.
It's final answer.
You did not ask me if that was my final answer.
Thanks for staying with us. We're going to move on now quickly to Sun. Tinubu backs Umahi over war against contractors. 5.4 million voters to elect Imo, Kogi, Bayelsa governors. What Tinubu must do to fix Nigeria, says Pastor Ashimolowo. Ogun, Zamfara, Cross River, Adamawa top cholera cases. Bayelsa Guba, Sylvia appeals ruling voiding his candidacy. Kidnapper on the rampage in Nasarawa and Kogi. Subsidy, federal government will soon release 6-month report of revenues, says Ramfak. Anguish as fuel queues increase in Abuja. Okay, which story?
Let me take INEC. They've disclosed that a total number of over 5 million registered voters will exercise their franchise in the forthcoming November 11 off-season governorship elections in 3 states of Kogi, Bayelsa, and Imo. INEC also says that it has cleared 16 political party candidates in Bayelsa, 17 in Imo, and 18 parties in Kogi State. It also says that the Commission will be organizing a mock accreditation of voters, and they will deploy beavers and IREV. They also are saying that there's a timetable of the schedule of activities that, that will be sent out to the different states. The elections will hold simultaneously in the 3 states, Thursday, October 12th, and it will be, Saturday, October 14, 2023, from 8:30 to 2:30. And they also said that lessons learned from the exercise will also be taken into consideration to ensure a seamless deployment of the beavers and IREF on the election day itself proper. So it's good for Kogi, Bayelsa, and Imo states to be aware that, INEC is doing everything we can. I think yesterday was in the paper that INEC was afraid of some insecurity issues, especially in Kogi State. So I hope that, government is also looking at that so that it does not affect the elections that will hold.
Okay. Talking about insecurity, 4 students of the Nasarawa State University, KEFI, were kidnapped yesterday in the Angwankare area, just after the Benue Cement Company. The incident occurred at approximately 10:30 p.m., leaving the community in distress. The abducted students have been identified as Rahila Hanya, 100-level student of the School of Life Sciences and Technology, Josephine Geshon, 100-level Computer Science Department, Rosemary Samuel, 100-level Department of Business Administration, Goodness Samuel, 100-level Department of Geography. And they said they can't understand the motive behind the abduction of these students. So the Senate Chairman on Security for the Nasarawa State, has spoke up about it, and he expressed concern and anguish over the incident, and he was praying that God would, safeguard and protect them and bring them home. Law enforcers agencies also have been alerted. There's a comprehensive search and rescue operation is on the way to locate and rescue the abducted students. But right now, they don't even know where they are. But we're hoping that they've launched a manhunt already, so we're hoping that they'll be able to get them in no distant time. It's just a painful one.
Any story, son?
Yes.
Go ahead, please.
Anguish as fuel queues return to Abuja. There's a picture of a very, very long queue. Abuja motorists were tormented on Tuesday, yesterday, when many filling stations shut down due to lack of petrol. This led to queues in few outfits that dispense the community. So areas affected around Kubwa, Zuba, Lugbe, CBD, lots of queues owing to anxiety that the landing cost of petrol has moved all the way to 720 naira per litre. So I think this article interviewed a lot of people. A lot of people were interviewed, and everybody just kept shouting, I need fuel for school runs, I need fuel for my business, life is becoming unbearable. Well, we thought after the removal of fuel subsidy, we shouldn't be back to queues again. So we're hoping that is attended to. Thank you.
Major headlines. So not just Hurricane Wike is blowing hot and cold, hotter and hotter. We have the Minister of Works, Dave Umahi. He's also blowing pretty hot, saying that he has the president's backing to fish out everybody who's frustrating the policy. He calls them the enemies within. They've ganged up to frustrate the policy, and the President Tinubu has given him the go-ahead to resist any blackmail and to do what is right for the benefits of Nigeria. According to him, many of these contractors get 20 projects, but end up just taking maybe implementing just 2 units or putting only 2 or so equipment to site. He said that there are some elements within that are fighting him, who are also benefiting from the system, and that is the greatest problem they have. And he said, I will flush out those elements and take them to ICPC. I'm speaking on his behalf. I'll flush them out and send them to ICPC to handle them, because nobody can hold this country to ransom. So I am giving them the last chance to conform, so we can help Mr. President to reset the country. So,
Ms. Morayo, I don't understand your...
Yes, so I was there.
Involvement with Wike.
No, this is not Wike. This is David Umahi. And they are really Blowing hot.
Why is the one that was locked up by
It was giving Wiki vibes.
striking
Yes.
employees, remember?
Yes, lock them out of
Why
the.
it's blowing hot
It's
now.
blowing hot.
Okay, and so we have like 3 ministers who are blowing hot. Hurricane Wike, we have Devumai, and we have the interior guy. What's his name? The guy that is the passport guy. Tunji Ojo.
Ojo,
Those are the 3 guys with here. And also the lady, Betty Edu. She's been huffing and puffing. She's going better. Edu. So the 4 ministers will be hearing you loud and clear.
Yes.
So we are monitoring, we're watching. Okay, moving on now to Vanguard. FG halts pilgrimage as Lagos airlifts 310 from Jerusalem. Insecurity will help Nigeria overcome banditry, kidnapping, and Boko Haram, says EU. Bad roads, FG gives contractors 14-day ultimatum. Reps to investigate use of foreign currency as legal tender in Nigeria. NECA to FG begin plans to for minimum wage, actually, a minimum wage review. For FG to cut number of taxes to 9. I didn't forge my certificate, says Atiku. General jailed 7 years by Army Court Martial. And Clark decries deplorable state of roads in South. Okay.
Yeah, the Nigerian Employers Consultative Association, NECA, has called the federal government to set machinery in motion on minimum wage review in accordance with the 2019 Act, advising that the issues of wage increase and business sustainability should be dealt with concurrently. NECA is also saying that we all know that national minimum wage will expire next year, and we have also urged the government to put in place the machinery of the Committee of National Minimum Wage. We should not lose sight of Convention 131, that is the basis for minimum wage setting principle of the International Labour Organization, that's ILO. That is what we have used to arrive at 18,000 naira national minimum wage, the framework of the minimum wage that was set at 30,000. He says it is a tripartite framework with NECA representing the employers, NLC and TUC representing workers, and Federal Ministry of Labour representing the federal government. So he says this are like the stakeholders in setting up a minimum wage committee, and this is something we need to start before the expiration of the one that we're on right now.
Okay, another story. I think we're going to be wrapping up in Nigerian Tribune. Let's find a story of not taken. Nigerian employer pays over 60 different taxes annually. That toll hit over 1,800 as Israel-Palestine war reaches day 4. Import volume crashes by 60% at Lagos ports. Jobs may be affected. Contractors in gang up against FG over policy on asphalt. And 5.4 million electorates to vote for Kogi Imubayelsa. Any story?
Yeah, so the Nigerian Employers Consultative Association, NECA, again, has revealed that their members pay up to or over 60 different taxes annually in the course of running their businesses. The Director General of the association, Mr. Adewale Smart Uyerinde, was the one who disclosed this recently in Lagos. And he says the multiplicity of taxes, both legal and illegal, have continued to hinder the growth of businesses and the nation's economy. And he went ahead to commend the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for constitutive pay would actually bring down your business. So he also commended the federal government on the 7.5% value-added tax waiver on diesel. And he said some people have been claiming that the tax waiver is not enough, but he's calculating it based on, we should not calculate it based on isolation, that if somebody is doing like 100,000 diesel, liters of diesel in a month, and you take out 7.5, VAT on VAT waiver on that diesel, that's a lot that you are saving the person. So they that are doing volumes understand what this does, and it goes a long way to help people, especially those who rely solely on diesel for their businesses. So I want to see how they can, bring all the taxes together, because this agency is coming to you with this receipt, that agency is coming to you with this receipt. By the time you finish and you calculate your cost of production, everything you're selling, you would barely get anything to continue your business.
Okay, that's all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back, move on to the next segment. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome the one who can make time stand still forever, Mr. Kelechi Amadi. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good, my brother.
You love that intro, Abi?
Yeah. It was great.
Okay,
Thank you.
We try like that.
Thank you.
Now my question, which I feel is a cheap question.
Go ahead.
What does ISO stand for?
That is it. I think I'll drink.
No, you're joking.
I'm not joking.
Kelechi Amadi. No. Shay, you didn't whine me. You're whining me now.
I think I'll drink. No problem.
Okay.
I've always known this as ISO. I never bothered to know what it means. I know what it means, but I never bothered to know what the acronym is. Tell me the brand of camera that I use, so much so that I even became an ambassador. That's very easy. It's out there.
It's supposed to be,
Yeah. I just said, let me give you this one as a token of my appreciation.
Sony.
Drink!
I'm not done. You did not say final answer.
It's final answer.
You did not ask me if that was my final
You don't
answer.
have any choice again. It's only
Nikon.
how many cameras do they have? My
Nikon.
friend to drink. I gave you a very easy something.
Nikon now.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be. So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right?
Thanks for staying with us. So the hot topic today is about a story everybody's talking about online, about a young girl who had posted a video of herself, and we could hear the audio of her parents talking about, chastising her for asking for an iPhone 8. The loads of comments on social media concerning this matter. And it's a multifaceted conversation because people are looking at it from different sides. So what happened, for those of you that have not watched it, I'm not sure if our producer will be able to show the clip to you. The young girl, we could see her, and she was obviously in a car with her parents, who expressed displeasure at the fact that she was asking them for an iPhone. And they said things like, our future obviously is not secure in your hands, because for you to be, you refuse to gain admission into the university, you're not doing anything tangible with your life. Thank God you're not the only child that we have. We have other children who at least are getting along well. While all your friends are going to school, you have refused to gain admission. They're just saying a lot of things that a lot of people felt wasn't right. She also recorded her parents and posted, and according to her mother, she has just been a source of pain to them, and she has her focus on an iPhone 8 is all that is important to her. she said a lot of other things, and we'll pick up a few other things from the ladies. But the point is, who is wrong in this matter? And Nigerians have all shared their views on social media. Some have seen it from the side of the parents. Some have seen it from the side of the girl. Some have seen it from the side of society, because there's a lot of pressure. Young people, today is actually International Day for the Girl Child, and a lot of young girls are under pressure across board. Boys feel the pressure too, but some girls also feel the serious pressure of getting along and just being pretty, having stuff other girls have. What are your thoughts on this video in particular? Who do you hold responsible? How do we have a conversation? And how do we learn, more importantly? What lessons can we learn from that experience, especially from those of us who were raised in this country and have a new perspective to raising children? You can call us on the numbers on your screen, 081-076-41679, 09024163440. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect, please, hashtag YourViewTVC, so we can read the tweets. Let me start with you, BC. The reason I'm starting with you, because, we were raised differently from this generation, and whatever this man is saying, many of us are somewhat familiar. A lot of people say, oh, this is something parents do. We've also learned that, okay, maybe it's not the right approach. But what are your thoughts when you heard the video? What came to your mind?
So I felt bad that the girl was shamed for wanting something. And it just quickly took me back to growing up, when I was called selfish at some point for asking for my school fees. And I was shamed for that. I was called selfish. I was called, you don't care about any other person. You're only thinking of yourself. And in that confused state as a teenager, I was telling myself, am I the one that's supposed to now be thinking of school fees for my younger ones? Please, which is my job in this place? It was really confusing, and it left a hole in my heart for a very long time. Anytime I look back, at the time, then I would feel a certain type of way towards my parents. Did they bring me here to come and now start raising their other children? Shouldn't they have finished raising me first before, all of that? And immediately I saw that, I felt, this is shaming this child for wanting something. So it happened to me recently, like 2 years ago, when my daughter was 12. She wanted a phone. And the environment, so people grow from different environments. Where she is right now, all her classmates have phones. Everybody is a gadget that they use, for their work and whatever they Snapchat, TikTok, whatever they like to do with it. And she wanted an iPhone, right? She was 12. And instead of telling her, how dare you? You're just 12. How can you be thinking about it? I said, okay, you need to understand that for you to get something, you have to give something. What are you willing to get? She and her brother asked for the phone. I said, what are you willing to give? Come up with a project. Let's tie it to a project. When you complete your project successfully, I will give you your phone, right? And they started working on the project. It took her 2 years to complete the project. She got the phone just last week at 14 from what she requested 2 years, because that was the reason she wrote her book. She completed the project, and then I had to explain to her, wait, we are changing our phone soon, we'll just hand you over the one that you want and all of that. So I tied it to something. My son, on the other hand, was still battling to do project. We may battle this project till he's 15 or 16, but nobody is getting anything without working for it. I was also afraid, because the man used some languages I didn't like. Go and sell your body now. Go and sell your body now to get the phone. Since the phone is important, go and sell your body now. Those things leave a lasting impression in a girl's heart. So she's constantly asking herself, so is even an option, even if she didn't think about it before, so it's an option to actually sell my body to get this. And I was also worried, because this is a world where we pamper children for a long time. If she was in the Obodo Ibo, by now she's working in McDonald's as she was waiting for her papers. She's earning money. She can buy the phone that she wants. She can buy anything that she wants. But we pamper children till they're 35. And then we question them for asking for things that they feel they should have.
Okay. So, all right, that's the premise. But let me hear your own initial thoughts.
Did you want to say everything?
No vex, myself.
Okay, so I have issues with the approach of the parents. I feel like even if the parents meant well, they went about it the wrong way, and this is why. So if words can build, words can also destroy. Even if they had an issue with the question, with the request, they could have expressed it in a way that the girl will understand and not suggest other things to her. So I feel it was an overkill. They were extreme in their approach, which is not okay for me. Number two is, what do I think about a 16-year-old, or I don't know her age now, asking for an iPhone? Well, the times we live in, like BC said, a lot has changed. If the parents have introduced reasons for the use of some of these things to their children at home, then they have a right to question the child wanting it for something that is not necessary. But if they've not had that conversation, then their response to her request was also wrong. They're just exposing her to peer pressure, they're exposing her to depression, and they're giving her a reason to want to get what she wants, but from another place. So I feel the parents have not attended to the question. They just poured out a lot of suppressed anger into an innocent question. So everything about the approach is a big no for me.
Okay. Miriam, what's your initial thoughts on this? I mean, when you saw the video, what came to mind?
Okay, when I saw the video, what I saw first was the criticisms against the parents' response. And I tried so hard to listen to what they said, you know, that warranted such criticism, and I didn't hear it. I think it was much later, you know, while we're preparing, they talked about the fact that the father mentioned you need to sell your body. Now, for me, I find it difficult to put people on the line for a snapshot, like a 2-second or 1 minute snapshot of their life. Context is important in everything. And as much as the words that were used, you know, as explained by BC and Ronke, may have been inappropriate, I know that parents are human beings as well. And what I'm thinking is, what was the context in which this happened? How many times has she misbehaved or done something and they were frustrated and they said something that probably they are unhappy that they did, that they said, you know. Maybe this was something even out of character, because for them, they're like, of all the things to ask for, we've been talking about you getting in school. This is just me projecting, you know. We're talking about you getting back in school. We're talking about you doing this, and you ask us for an iPhone. Also, I'm putting into context that this is Nigeria, and there's a way Nigerian parents speak, you know, and they go very negative and very forceful because they believe that they need to give you the worst possible scenario to shake you up and, you know, recalibrate you. Like, these are the sort of things that someone who wants to, if we can't afford it, someone who is willing to give her body out to, you know, to get. Now, I'm not saying that the words themselves are okay, but I'm saying I can understand how a parent would have said that. Yeah. And I understand that parents are human beings and they can get frustrated. And that's why sometimes we talk to, you know, parents, we say it's okay to, when you have done something wrong, you can apologize for it. But to say that this will lead to depression, this 1 minute video, I feel that we're stretching it. Okay. You know, children are not perfect beings. They don't, you don't say, it's not all children that you say, stop, that will stop. That you said stop, that child, another child would go and will go as far, they will test you, and they will test you in different ways. There are some children that they say to them, do not do this, or this is how it's meant to be done, and they will fall in line. There are some children that will take you round and round about and will test you, and you deploy every means you feel. You know, sometimes parents want to even use the worst thing so that you don't go and hear it outside, or you don't go and meet it outside. Let me be the worst thing that can happen to you. Hate me if you can. Hate me if you will. I'm going to make sure that this your bad behavior, I'll break it in my house. So I'm not judging the parents for, I don't think that they said anything, apart from that particular word that they used. And I feel that parents can go back and apologize for using that one. But the whole conversation, I don't think they did anything wrong. And my context is, this must be something that's been brewing over a long period of time. Finally, a child put their parents on social media while she was being scolded without their permission. That was so scary. It tells me that we're dealing with a different type of person here. And for me, I feel that adults should pay attention to that behavior as well. What does that tell you about that child? You're willing to put your parents on blast because they were reprimanding you. They were not physically abusing you. They were not psychologically abusing you. They were not refusing to pay your fees. It was not that you put them because they refused to pay your fees. It's not that I'm such a good child, this is what I've done, and my parents have just decided to, you know, destroy my life. It's not that you're putting your family because, oh, see, no matter what we do, my father is such a drunkard. You know, nothing like that. It was good parents trying to raise a child and you put them on blast like that?
All right, so that was the part I was going to, because there's a part of the child and there's part of the parents. So we'll come to the child in a minute. Let's stay with the parents for a second, because many of us will say we know better. We learn, we unlearn, and what's the third one? Relearn. Yeah, all the stuff, all the coaches are telling us these days. And we try to do better as parents. But there are things we can learn from this. So let us assume this is a problem child. Let's assume that she has siblings who are doing very well, done in school, and she's just one person that maybe she's not well understood. Maybe she's had her own insecurity issues that caused her her rebellion. But her parents obviously don't understand, and they are frustrated that she has refused to gain admission. There are possibilities that they've tried to reprimand her several times, and she just doesn't listen. Now, when a parent is in that state, how does a Nigerian parent, how do they handle it? Because this is a girl in the university. She's not a child. She's not a baby. She's obviously somebody who, she should be in university. She should be in university, about 18 or 17 or so. So how does a parent handle that kind of a child today?
Okay.
You want to go?
Okay, so Morero, before I get into your question, I've had the privilege of speaking with so many girls who had gone south. They became, in the context of this, bad. And when I listened to them, 60 to 70% of those girls chose that option because they felt somewhat rejected by their parents. Of course, I didn't get to speak with the parents. If I had spoken with them, parents would say, no, this is such a rebellious child. So your question is, how do we handle children who seem to be choosing another path different from what their parents have tried to show to them from when they were younger? And I think aggression, strong words, a lot of look at this one's child, look at that one's child, will not do it. It will just be counterproductive and make the matter worse. So if it's her birthday and the girl is saying, this is what I want for my birthday gift, what is wrong with sitting her down to say there are options? This is option 1, this is option 2. Maybe what Tuju said, if we do this, then we move on to 3. What is wrong with getting her to understand? Why must you shut her down when you could have explained to her? Because what parents do not say this is bad. They only say, I don't want to see it. And I don't want to see it means I can go and do it elsewhere. I can go and do it elsewhere. So I feel even if the intention is right, I do not fault the parents' intention. And I know it's painful when you have expectations, milestones for your children and they're not meeting up. But do we want our children to turn out like so many others who have gone? Is that what we want? I know a woman who said she had told her daughter, if your result comes out today and I find out that you failed, what I will do with you. And she told the girl, let's go. But you know what this girl did? She had gone to buy a razor blade and put it somewhere close. That when we see that result, before mommy can do anything to me, I will make sure
that's extreme.
Let me go on a break. When we come back, there's something that just came to my mind. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome pioneer Positive Force member, dancing queen of the 80s, non-conformist, Afrobeat historian in her right, and long-standing member of the multiple award-winning all-female show Your View, Omoyeni Yeni Anikulapo Kuti, aka YK Power! Ginger!
Take it.
Today we'll go here.
Hey, I didn't read you.
Are you sure?
Ha. I know I'm not here to answer questions, I'm here to drink.
We're in trouble today.
What's your age?
I was close now.
I
said 1975.
He said 73. He said 75. Fellas wasn't even born in 75.
So will I drink half?
You go drink. Take. Make I help you. Russian.
No be half.
Which half? You will make me drink. I'll give you a hint.
Lights in no. Nepa Road. Nepa Road in Abeokuta.
First of all, my brain cannot memorize everything.
A big black bug.
A big black dog.
Bug. A big black bug.
Oh, sorry. A big.
It all starts.
Ọmọ fela. Ọmọ Anikulapo Kuti. Wọ́n rò pé kí ni kékeré yìí.
It's by Audison. It's not by Audison.
Come closer. A little bit more. Perfect. I have exciting news for you. You asked for it and you got it. Your favorite breakfast show, Your View, will be going to 2 hours. We're going to have in-depth analysis of the newspaper review and more conversations on the hot topics. The ladies of Your View and I will be stirring up our guests to get in-depth into all the various topics, and you, our viewers, will have the opportunity to call in and share your views. After all, it's your view. Join us on Your View, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. for a fantastic conversation. Don't miss it. Thanks for staying with us. We're discussing this issue of the young girl who asked her parents for iPhone. It's gone also all over social media. It's trending. I would like to hear your views. You can call us some of the numbers on your screen. Let me come to you, BC, on this, in how to handle a rebellious child in this situation.
So sometimes I realize that what we call a rebellious child is a child who is not obedient to the ways we have carved out for them. We want to tell children to sit, and they sit without asking questions. Want to tell them to do this and they do it without asking questions. You see parents that hear why from their children get frustrated. Why are you asking me, my friend? Go and do what I ask you to do. Don't ask me, you know. And those children who don't ask those questions are seen as obedient. But a child who challenges you is actually a child that has a brain. It's actually a creative child. It's a child that is able to think. So you need to now temper. That's why they say if you are mad, don't have children. If you have anger issues, don't have children. Because what we see is that parents transfer the frustration of life on the children that they are supposed to nurture. Some of us were called rebellious because we didn't want to toe the way every other person was towing. I was the first person who gave my life to Christ in my house, right? And when I started going to church, my father banned me from going to church. And I would sneak out and go to church. I was rebellious. But in my head, I just found Jesus and I had to go to church. But there was nothing I did not hear. There was no beating I did not collect for just choosing a different path. At the end of the day, he gave his life to Christ and followed me to the same church. But I've collected my beating, right? So sometimes you have that child. I have one in my house. I tell the other people, go this way. This one is constantly questioning me. In fact, every day we're having Sermon on the Mount. I have to calm down and call him, oh yeah, let's have a conversation. Why do you want to go this way?
Don't burn your kind.
As in, I burn my kind. And I understand that. But it took me a while to understand that. Okay, probably because he's my kind, yeah. I have a better understanding of how to approach him. We normalize abusing children and their mental health in the name of correction. They say the rod of correction. I know. Say a child who is usually very stupid and everything. Spare the rod and spoil. The rod of correction does not mean insult upon insult, abuse that takes them down a different path. Yeah. You can never tell where they are so creative these days. You can't tell where their mind will go to from what you're saying. So we need to sort our own frustration so that we can clearly see the situation and follow it objectively.
Let me take this call from Felicia. Good morning, Felicia. Thanks for calling.
Good morning. And
morning.
This is my time of calling.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Concerning this topic, honestly, it's a sensitive one. The parents are actually wrong, but the daughter too. I think she has a lot of learning to do. First and foremost, it's wrong to actually post anything about your family out there. And secondly, but not that you have been causing me pain. That means there has been given headache almost 6 times. We not encourage actions from this. Because when we start, and start putting out there to the public, she's supposed to think about people.
Felicia, it's hard to hear you. It's breaking up a bit. Mira, let me come to you. There's a concept called tough love. And it's like children of these days are not resilient enough to understand or appreciate what tough love. Because when we're growing up, yes, today it might be defined as, oh, we're abused, we're bashed, we're traumatized. You know, coaches will tell you, you're traumatized, you're all traumatized children. When we grew up, we can all debate how we turned out. Okay, some turned out this way, some turned out that way. But there is something called tough love where I will make life look tough for you or get angry with you, not because I hate you, but really because I just need you to understand that things are not just rosy. But today's children, just like you said, are pampered. We just take them to school. They don't really, we have this mental health. We care for their mental health. Can they understand or is tough love required? Can you even get away with tough love in modern times?
I love this question, and I love how you put it, because, we're parents here raising our children, and I think we've also just gotten to that age where we're realizing it's not that cute little boy.
No, it's not.
Yes, mommy! Like, why you.
Yeah.
So tough love is important, but this question is not just for the children, it's also for the parents.
Yes.
We want to give tough love, but how do we do it in such a way that we do not tip the balance into abuse, is what we're saying. How do I make it known that this is what I'm trying to do, so that like an Obiajilu who is a coach is looking and thinking, I'm not abusing my child. Sometimes parents, we feel that as long as my intention is right, then my method is fantastic. It covers my method. But the truth is, sometimes, no matter how great your intention is, your method can be a bit flawed. And parents have gotten, to get away with it because, when you also become a parent, because you understand intention, you're like, we give them a pass. But we need to do better. We need to do it a bit differently. If there's no tough love, whether we like it or not, our children will have to go and they will fight those battles that they were supposed to have fought as children in your home. They go and fight it outside. So I am learning in my home that tough love is putting, setting goals and targets and saying, if you don't meet this goal, if you don't meet this target, then we're not doing this or you're not getting this. That's how it happens in my house. But was it easy for me to get there? It took a lot of back and forth with this child, And I just figured out, I raised a child that when I was raising this child, I wanted the child to be able to speak their mind, because I thought that when I was growing up, I was not allowed to speak my mind.
Yeah.
I was told to shut up because an adult was speaking, and so don't speak. And even when an adult would say something that was untrue about me or misunderstood me, I was not allowed to even give my own side. So I raised a child who has now gotten to a point that is now able to speak their minds, and I'm saying, shut up! That is not, but I was not that raised this child. So the tough love now is, now I'm giving tough love back to this child. You're allowed to speak your mind. I've raised you. But this is how you say it. You need to remember to be polite. If you're not polite, these are the consequences. If you want this, you want to go out, because my son loves football. I don't mind. You're allowed to play football for so time. But have you done your homework? Have you written that essay I say you should write every day? Have you done that? Now we're getting, thankfully, it's still small light at the end of the tunnel, where we are now understanding this trade by barter conversation. So even though with this particular parent, I'm going back there and I'm saying I do not want to judge this parent by 1 minute video, because however the tools that I now have, I will never lie to you today and say I've not gotten frustrated. I've not used the method that I went back and I'm ashamed that I used. I'm a human being. I'm allowed to make mistakes. And my children are allowed to know that parents make mistakes sometimes. And I'm okay to apologize, because I want that child to grow up into an adult that's able to apologize. But to demand of me perfection throughout raising the child, Auntie, I'm sorry.
You have finished
call
the
me
show.
what you want to call me.
I mean, you finished it.
Victoria,
Victoria, I'll come to you. That's us there. That's then. But we're talking about today. Victoria from Iju, thanks for calling, Victoria. I'm sorry for keeping. Please call her back. I do apologize for keeping you.
So Mo, I wanted to add to what Miriam said. I feel the concept of needs and wants do not just apply to financial matters. And what you call tough love, in my understanding, is withdrawal of privileges. It's just important that children know that it's not everything available to them that we will be willing to give to them. So it doesn't have to be because of an offense. That's the line I want to draw. You don't have to do something wrong for me to withdraw a privilege from you. I just need you to understand that in life, there are times when we have excess, and there are times when no is a statement. No does not need any other explanation. And it's okay to talk about these things. So I prefer when I say no, my daughter says, Mommy, can we talk about it? Because I want to hear what she has to say. I don't think because she's young, she shouldn't have a mind of her own and do everything I want her to do. I mean, we're just going to be with these children for maybe 20, 25 years. The remaining parts they'll be on their own. So let's go.
Let me take Kazim from Gombe. Thanks for calling, Kazim.
Good morning.
Morning.
Murayo and Ode. I wanted to put on my voice on the issue here because you see, one of the problems we have is that we parents, we choose not to spend time with our children. So we tend to spend money on them than spending time on them. There are 3 category years that we need to pay more attention on the children. The first year is when between age of 0 to 7. At that particular point of time, we need to spend more time with the children. Till when they are age 14. Immediately after age 14, when they get to age 21, at that time, child are at liberty to do whatever they want. But nowadays, the reverse is the case. We spend more time, we spend more money on the children than.
All right, so sorry, we lost Kazim. Bisi, let me come to you on this matter. There's a part I wanted you to touch on. A parent is watching television right now and say, listen, I've raised 4 kids. 3 of them, fantastic. We raised them in the same house. Same exposure, same tough love, same cuddly, same conversations, and 3 of them are doing well. It's this one. This one. Everything. So someone say, I'm a pastor, I'm a preacher, I'm an imam, I raised everything in the books. But this one child. Now, at what point does a parent let go of a rebellious child or find a way to continue this? Because that's what this guy is doing. Like, I have other children. You have refused to go back to school. So a parent is watching right now. He did everything right. But still, this is one child. What do you do?
She's just 18. No, hold on. I know why I'm putting the just, right? She has years ahead of her to figure out what she wants. Have they even asked her if she wants to go to school? Have they had that question? We had a guest who came yesterday who said she wrote JAM 6 times. Put that lady in that family. And imagine the kind of thing she'll be hearing for writing JAM 6 times. Have we taken time to understand this child? To know what this child needs exactly? So we assume because I can pop out children, I pop out 4, all of them will be treated with the same measure. No. Every child in your house has a different parent. Every child. If you have 4 kids, the first one has a different Morayo attending to her and a different Mr. Brown. The second one has a different Morayo. So you show yourself to the child how they present. And so in your head, I have done everything. In the child's head, mommy is different with Miriam the way mommy is different with me. Mommy is different with Ronke the way mommy is different with me. They see different mommies. So we need to understand our children before we tag them rebellious or not rebellious. We need to understand that. Now, sometimes what I feel is because of societal expectation, we want to, I like the perfection you mentioned. We are not perfect here. Our own results will never come out.
Yes, sir.
It's when our kids are grown that we know all this English we are speaking.
God bless you.
And we are praying that God, let it come out.
Amen.
Right? We are not perfect. The children are not perfect. But we must understand that we cannot allow society dictate to us how to follow our children because they come with their past.
So there's a possibility that this auntie might not even need school. Cut off for school.
It may not even be. They're just forcing her to read this jam and pass this YA can go to this school. It may not be. And if you give her time, understand her, you cannot expose her to those things that she's naturally gifted in. There's this thing I always say, Howard Gardner, the 9 intelligences, they are different of them. We don't have time. I would have listed them for you now so that you understand. You can evaluate your child and find out where they are, where their strengths are. And also, tie everything, instead of constantly being frustrated, and sometimes it's lazy parenting. It's easy to vent. It's easy to transfer the aggression to the child and move on. And after that conversation, we're not revisiting it again. But to follow up, like what she mentioned, the goals you must see me now following up on my son. This thing, if you don't do it, if you do it at 18, that's when you get your phone. and I'm standing on it. I'm not giving up on it. That's also my tough love. That instead of constantly calling him names and telling him you are lazy, you are this, you are not doing that, oh yeah, now go outside. Then expose them to working for what they want.
Okay, let me go on a break. We'll come back and open our phone lines. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
This is 7 of 7. My name is OJ, and signing a sobriety into my hands tonight on this social experiment called the 7 of 7 is Owen G. What is the name? Or what was the name? You see, I want to make them better now.
Rock Heart.
No, of the goat when they brought it on stage.
The name of that goat.
Yeah.
We should go there.
No, that one easy now.
I'm just drinking this so that I can ask him my own questions. It's not because of
Buga.
he didn't get it. You know, you know. Okay. Mention 10 female stand-up comedians in Nigeria. See, just mention their stage name. If you annoy me, you will mention their real names and the year they started. And if you annoy me further, you mention the names of their husbands and the names of their children. Try me now. Okay, mention their name.
No, let's just.
No, wait. No, don't. No. Name, real name, stage name, husband name, children name. 10 of them.
Even the 10. That's a lot.
Eh?
That's a lot.
Did I cut your question for you?
Yes.
When you were happy now. With your hunchback.
That was it.
You are wasting time. We don't have time. See, my brother, before we go on a commercial break, you are stubborn. And I told you since. The fact that you play this your hair does not mean. You understand? See this bad hair you are looking at. It's experience. I've suffered before you.
But I try now.
When you there during the military era of Abacha and Babangida, you know what happened?
I be Gen Z.
So that Gen Z,
I call 4
I will remove 4 out of 10.
That's like
4 out of 10 they passes. Don't drink this thing. Where baby you are on here. Drink out. If I land you.
Can ask questions if I want to ask questions, and if it's something that I saw coming, I may not even ask questions. I may just I may even tell you I saw this.
What if it's in person? But then would it make a difference where? So like this person might just say you can just be on 3rd Milan Bridge on a bike and the person say, babe, I cannot do it again, and you lose range. So what would change? What would change the scenario? Like, does it matter where? Do you want to have like a fancy dinner, like the film you were meant to be talking about? Or do you want to be on the street?
No, carry me go fancy dinner.
Or you might just una dey run for treadmill.
Or you na dey jog.
You tell you lose for your web.
Now I don't turn attempted murder.
So what?
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing this issue of parenting, and I think, as BC said, our own report card hasn't come out. So when our kids are growing up, that we now say yes, how, but we can only discuss based on what we see, what we've learned, and what we're also daily learning. Let me come to you, Ronke, because we talked before the break how to deal with that rebellious child. Because some parents say, "I've done everything in the books. This child was raised in a godly home, and these kids they were exposed to the exact same things, but just this one person." And people are faced with, how do I handle a rebellious child? When do I know when to say, I'm done, do what you wish, or I continue to follow? Because they say you're a parent forever, you're a mother till you die. So you want to keep mothering, you want to keep, being that parent to the person till you go. So at what point do you think, what do you think a parent in that situation can do?
Okay, thank you, Mario. So the first thing is, if it's fine with you, can I exchange the word rebellious for misunderstood? Because I feel so many teenagers at the point where they become teenagers are usually misunderstood. Because when we look at puberty, we approach puberty from the physical angle, and this is coming out, changing so voice and all of that. But parents never really understand the emotions that come with the changes that accompany puberty, and why those children, those teenagers just want to restrain themselves, stay away, maybe withdraw from parents and want to spend more time with peers. So at that point, parenting should be more of partnership, because the stronger influence comes from outside with their friends, and you already have a challenge. So if you notice that you have a child who is showing all the signs of wanting to go far from your values, I do not think the approach should be an overkill or want to show the world that you're a good mom. I think it requires talking about it, having conversations, praying, and bringing your child, using all the means. Read books on parenting. These days, people assume parenting is an act. I think it's a skill, and it can be developed over time. And one of the ways to build the skill is to read books, listen to people, look at people who have gone through stuff, and show compassion. Because when a child appears the child prefers something else other than what you have done, the right approach should not be anger. The right approach should not be pain with everything I've done. I've done it with 4 other children. No, it should be compassion. Such children require your compassion. You need to also bring in other people that would speak the language those children understand. I wouldn't say even when a child is 40, that's a good enough time to let the child stay on his own, like give up on the child. 40 is an adult. I'm just saying, I'm just trying to say there's no limit. There's no. If you give it the right attention and you are patient, you might get answers, but you must recognize. You must recognize and accept that you might not be able to do everything on your own. Not as parents, we don't have all the answers.
Yep. Okay. Let me take this call.
That's your wife, Hannah.
Good morning. I think I have Godwin. You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. Good morning, Ma. Good morning, Ma. My name is Godwin. I'm calling from Lagos.
Okay.
All right, Ma. So I wanted to contribute to this issue on ground. I am a teenager, so I feel it is nice for you guys to hear the conversation like coming from a teenager.
Okay.
So the thing is, I think there's supposed to be an argument here at all. The girl is very, very wrong. Because you cannot record your parents without consent and then you post it online. I saw that post on Twitter. It had 24.2 million views. So let's just say 24.2 million people are seeing the parents as bad people. You understand? And again, we are missing a very important thing here. The girl does not have contentment because she has a phone already. It's not as if she does not have a phone. She has a phone. And the parents, all the parents want is they just want her to do well. Okay, fine. Let's just say she's not the type that school sees. She should talk to her parents. I don't want to go to school. I need a skill. I need a trade, or I want to go into business. You understand?
Thank you.
So the parents should know that, okay, school is not for you. Let's put you into something else. But this one, she's not even thinking about those ones. All she's thinking about is an iPhone.
Yeah.
I am a
Thank you,
teenager.
Godwin.
I am sponsoring myself. Why am I not pressuring my parents to get me a phone?
See them on TikTok.
I looked at it that, okay, if I can't afford to go to a university, let me opt out for a polytechnic. So currently, I'm schooling in a polytechnic because I know I can't afford the university. Why am I not waiting for my parents? Or why am I not pressurizing them to get me an iPhone? Because I know phone is not my major problem now.
Right. Thank you very much, Godwin. We're going to come to the issue of the child in a moment because I want to also finish the parenting conversation. But thank you for ushering us into it. Yeah. Mariam, let me let you jump in here.
Even without him, that was where I was headed. That, in this conversation, we made many assumptions about the parents. Either we thought they were being abusive or they were being uncaring or too frustrated, the assumptions about the child may be misunderstood. But there are other assumptions. Is the child lazy? Could that child be a lazy child, an entitled child? Whether we like it or not in this world, we do know that there are some people that are that. That is not because we're misunderstood. That even when they became adults, they'll be like, thank God for the way my parents handled me, or else I would have been lost.
Yeah.
So we need to recognize that there are some children that the tools to handle them is not the same tools for a misunderstood teenager. This is a child that needs to be corrected and put in the right place. You know, at different ages, there are different tools. Some, as we know that here in Africa and in Nigeria, some parents beat their children. But there's an age where you cannot beat your child anymore. Whether you, I mean, the child is either bigger or, you know, or taller than you, there's nothing that you can do. Then you now start talking, you're advising, you find that you're constantly talking to them. Then they move out. Then they have a job and they're far away from you. You cannot keep talking. Then you hear where parents say, now we're just praying for them. Sadly, you also see a point where because this child has grown or has been allowed to grow or has refused to learn, has grown into an adult, maybe even is a parent, and then sadly grandparents have to take the position of parenting their own those children. You know, a grandparent now becomes a parent to their grandchildren because that person refused to ever learn. There are people who need tough love because they are not following the right path for themselves. There are some children that I misunderstand that child. I've misunderstood this child because this is what the child actually wants. But, you know, I want the child to go exactly as I want. But there are children that it is anything my parents want to do, I want to do it. I want to do opposite of it. Or I've reached the age where I don't care how I was raised. I'm so excited by this new world of my peers. Yeah. I want to do it. And as a parent, you're sitting there and watching. And you know this is not a child that is not intelligent. I know my child. He reads well, he studies well. Throughout primary school, look at all the A's. And now he's in secondary school. First year or second year in secondary school, I see it changing a bit. We understand puberty plays a part. We understand peer pressure plays a part. But he's getting carried away or she's getting carried away. What do I need to do to remind my child? If the initial tools I've used is not enough, I'll look for like more appropriate tools for that age and for that rebellion. So there are rebellious children. There are children who need to be set right. And if a parent tells a child no, it does not make a parent a bad parent. Some children deserve to hear the word no. Some children need to understand that you cannot get anything. And sometimes the way we've always provided for the children and giving them things so that they do not show any displeasure is why we have children on our hands today who are not resilient, who are not tough. That when life happens to them, they are scattered everywhere. They don't know what they are meant to do because we haven't taught them that life is not always
bed of roses. Let me take this call from John. Good morning, John. Thanks for calling. You're live.
Yes, good morning, Morania, and the ladies in the house.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, there's something I was expecting you to talk about. Maybe you talked about it and I wasn't watching then, which is affordability.
Affordability.
What the parents can
What if the parents cannot afford iPhone 8?
Yeah.
And they can afford a Nokia? I mean, let's talk about affordability. Yes. I'm a parent. You know, I don't have a problem buying something, gift for my child to celebrate his or her birthday, or considering the fact that we live in the 21st century, the kids of this generation, their thoughts and desires are different from ours when we were growing up. Yes. But let's talk about affordability. Okay. What if my child wants something? This is not a need. It's a want, not a need. What if my child wants something and I cannot afford it at that point in time? What do? Should I go steal?
Of course not.
That's what I want us to focus on.
Thank you very much, John. That's an important part. We'll discuss that. Let me come to you, BC, because there's a part that Godwin took us to, the part of the child.
Yes.
Because a teenager, let's just assume she's 17, 18 years old, is, as you said, another part of the world, they are working already.
Yeah, sure.
I have shared my story here several times. When I was 16, after my 16th birthday, after a celebration party, he now called me. The monthly bill, he took a highlighter, all the Nigeria calls, the call to Nigeria. This is your bill. Going forward, you're the one paying, you're going to get a job. Because that is what a teenager does. But now, this young child should know better according to Godwin, because he is also a teenager. He's put himself through school. He understands what is required of him, what his parents can do, which is also connecting to what Mr. John said, affordability. My parents cannot afford this. This is what I can do. Do you think a teenager at that age should know better in the sense of, okay, my parents cannot afford iPhone, but this is what I can do. Or my parents are insisting I do this, I should be able to talk to them. I don't want to go to school. How does a child handle it whereby you can confront your parents and say, Daddy, this jam thing you're telling me, I am not interested. Some kids today don't even have the confidence. Well, some of them have the confidence, but they're hitting a brick wall, getting through to their parents in understanding that I don't want to go to school. How does a young teenager in this time handle this?
Godwin that called is a very mature teenager. But that does not mean every teenager at that age will be mature. And we need to give room for other people to mature in their time. Every child matures differently. Going to school in secondary school, we had those very wise ones, very wise. They would make the right decisions, they would do things right, blah, 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 blah. Where we had the very foolish ones. You know, I was part of the very foolish one.
No, you did. You seem like you're wise.
No, I wasn't wise in secondary school. I was wise in the university. So I was part of the foolish ones in secondary school where it seemed like my head was not there because I was maturing differently and also faced with certain circumstances in my home that made me more into preserving and protecting myself than actually reasoning the way I should have reasoned. But then that maturity hits me in the university. So do we now cast aside those kids who are not mature? We're comparing here. There are some teenagers that would say some things to their parents. Mommy, don't worry, I got this covered. There are children you have in your house that don't stress you. They got it covered. Yeah. Before you open your mouth to give the instruction, they're already doing it. They are automatic. They know what to do. There are some that they're looking at it, they're not even seeing it. Their mind is not there. Do you cast them aside? Give them their time and their process. And what I see here is just communication. We need to communicate better with our children. Everything Miriam said is right. However, how you communicate it. We have people, even as an adult, I was still sorting trauma from childhood as an adult, which I know that if I didn't have this trauma, I would probably have behaved better in some things. I probably have had better relationships in some things. I kept sorting because I'm self-aware and I'm understanding, okay, where did this come from? What am I constantly sorting so that I become a better human being? A lot of people die under that trauma. They never get away from it. Why? Just a word that you say, I don't have this now. Can we keep this till later? It's as simple as that. Nobody says you should say yes. I say no. No, hold on. I say no most of the time to my children. But how I say it is what's most important. I will not bring them down and shame them for asking for something. Because you know what I do? First of all, if I don't have the money and I say, how can you think of things like this? It's people that are thieves that do it. It's people that are prostitutes that wear this. It's people that are this that do that. What I communicate to the child is to be ashamed of their needs. We get them to adulthood and they are ashamed. They are not able to communicate what they want. They cannot ask in relationships. They cannot ask in a whole lot of things. So we need to be careful. We're still learning. We're all work in progress. But you must be intentional about what you communicate to your child. If the world is insulting my child, the insult shouldn't come from me. I should be more supportive. Even when I want to punish you, I will punish you in support. I will tie you to a goal. And please, can we start allowing our children to work?
Yes, now.
Let's start allowing them work. Let them work for what they want.
No, they refuse to give my son a job during the holiday. Because even
how old is your child?
Please don't rush.
No, let's go on a break. Okay, we come back.
To go to a bookstore and be putting books on the bookshelf.
Give the child early.
Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome the grand comedian of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Gbenga Adeyinka the First. OJ right here, 7 of 7, like you already know.
Gbenga right here, 7 of 7, like I'm beginning to know.
It's now time for the question.
You don't scare me one bit. Bata, I go drink. So.
Okay. So now one chance for Inter. My first question. Do you remember the names of the winners of that edition of StarQuest?
Of course I do.
Why do you?
And I hate myself for this. Because I have this question for you. Final question. No. Where outside Nigeria and what year? I think you're the only one that can be wicked.
I am thinking, because I know back in the day
Don't think, oh, don't think. Answer my question quick. You are thinking too much. I don't like it.
The UK.
Final answer. Okay. I said, God, please, let me to perform outside Nigeria.
Wait.
And God gave me a show in Ghana. Drink, my friend, drink. I don't
overthink this thing. See where I can.
Yes, you overthink them.
I would say you should catwalk.
Let's catwalk now. Where are we?
No, that's not catwalking.
That's good talking.
It's not just where, but who wouldn't you want to work with?
Yes, that's on that angle.
So Laifa had a very, very interesting.
You wouldn't want to work with who?
Not There's no judgment.
No.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're discussing about the young girl now. We're thinking, what's the reasoning of a young girl who's willing to record a parent without their consent and post it online on social media? What is the mental state of that child? What kind of person is she? What kind of adult is she growing up to be? And if indeed she's a modern Gen Z kind of girl, maybe does she have more information where she can actually be the one to spearhead the conversation in the family, say, listen, Daddy, I know you guys are forcing me to do this thing, but this is my path. This is, how kids today seem to probably have better clarity, on what they want to do. You would think that someone like that can easily educate her parents, because we all know in parts, the parents cannot do more than they know. This is how they raised the other kids, and they turned out okay. They're not well informed like an Obiajilu or Miriam or where they have more information. They are only using the same tools. They know. It not work on you. Now, you as Gen Z that you know better. Tell me what your path is. Because if you reason together with me, maybe you can sell your plans to me and I can understand. So is there a part of a teenager in this whole picture?
Sometimes we are assuming that a child that is not going the default way is because that child has a deeper clarity or understanding of where they are supposed to go. It's because, the reason why I'm always on my phone is because in 5 years I'm about to create this majestic device, but sometimes it may not be so.
Hallelujah.
In fact, there are some children, right, that have shown, there are some things you even see in a child that has that tendency. My mom said I should do this, but I did this instead. Did I not ask you to sweep? I did not sweep, but they'll find creative ways of doing it. But you have a child who, did I not ask you to sweep? Oh, I'm sorry. That child was sitting down there from morning to night. The child did not get up to sweep. You've not been going for classes. Why haven't you been going for classes? Okay, let me even give a real life example. I know a child, when we're in university, who got into engineering, is what his parents have always wanted. But a year after, he switched by himself to economics, the same course as me, and he was saying that he found it hard. This was what his parents wanted, but he did this for himself. He says that his parents are unaware, but he will make sure he does his best in this new course. So by the time we graduated, he was one of the top students that graduated, and that, according to what he said to us, that was when his parents knew. So they didn't come and meet a child that had dropped out, because we now have children who will drop out, who will not show up for, because we have those who will not show up for lectures, nothing, because you know what, that's not where my mind is. So what have you been doing in the meantime to show where your mind is? You have children who say, I don't really like to do, I don't want to go for lessons, I want to sew. And see the machine, see the sewing machine, see the needle and thread. You're not doing it. So a parent is not the parents, in the parent's wisdom to understand there's a child that knows what they want to do, and you can see in some little steps where they're headed, and you can support that. And then you know that there's a child who is lazy, who is entitled, who cannot figure themselves out, and you will help. A parent is allowed to they have the best understanding of the child that they have with them. They have the best understanding of their weaknesses. You know, I always say to my child when he says something to me, how do you know? I say, "Nami born you. I born you." You know, we say it as a joke in my house, you know, and they laugh because of the English. And I say, I understand some things that you don't understand about yourself. Maybe in a few years when you leave my house, but it's that I understood you long before you even started understanding yourself. Then I'm not the best person to, but you see this helping a child to find their path. You really need to. It's not always that the child knows what's better. I just want us to recognize that a rebellious child is not always a misunderstood child, or it's not always a child that has this deeper clarity or understanding of who
we don't get
Sometimes it's a child in trouble that needs a parent to step in.
That needs a rescuing. Okay, let me come to you, Ronke. There's some children that actually need to be rescued. Just like you said somebody earlier that you grow older, you're just thanking God, the Father, thank you that my father actually beat me up. I mean, but let me come to you.
Okay, so I have watched the video and I'm asking myself, at what point did this girl get on social media? So I've outlined a number of things that I consider wrong with the girl's action. At what point did she get on social media? Do her parents know she's on social media? Has she been posting her mind out there? You know, how come because she doesn't seem tense. It wasn't like she was compelled to do this. So it looks like something she's been doing. And for me, that's a big concern, especially if the parents are knowing she's on social media from this video. That's a very big no. Number two is, why would this girl be scolded and the next thing is she wants to do a live video? As in, it shows that somewhere along the line there's compassion missing. There's compassion missing because it's just like my mom beating me and I'm going to report my mom to other people to say this is what my mom did. And I am also asking, why are we having this conversation now that the girl is 18? How can parents help their children to understand? I mean, understanding cannot just be from a parent to a child. It should also be from a child to a parent. We tell children, sometimes when your mommy's head is in her hands, that might not be the right time to say, "Mommy, I want sweets." Sometimes when daddy comes back and he looks a bit distressed, that's not the right time to say, "Daddy, come and pay for this excursion." I mean, it's important that we teach our children to show understanding and to show compassion. Because even if she was upset and she could have tried so many other means, tell the pastor, tell someone privately who can call the parents, but she chose to do this. I'm wondering how the parents will let go of this image. You know, the internet never forgets. So I feel the girl needs help, and everybody, all the parties in question need help.
Let me take this call from Samson. Good morning, Samson, you're live. Thanks for calling.
Hello, I want to make my contribution.
Please do, go ahead.
Okay, I want to, in respect of the child being discussed, for me, what happened to the child and the parent or the father, it didn't happen the day it happened. It happened just before then, because of way back. We have to shape the life of our children right from the beginning. Yeah. If you give a person your children that everything is there, they will get it. If you want to shape their life to know when to ask for something, when to ask for something, to make it. Okay. Every child cannot be brought up the same way. Every child has a different character. I have raised four wonderful children. I know that I have to shift from one to the other, you know, shaping their future based on their own capacity, based on their behavior. I don't have to shape their behavior in such a way that I don't apply the same rule to all of them. They know that. I have to tell them at the beginning. Communication is key. So you have to tell them what is possible and what is not possible. If you tell them that you have everything, they will have for everything. And that for me is my own contribution today.
All right. Thank you very much, Samson.
So he's saying that you cannot apply one rule to all the children. You face them differently. And if you have everything, they would ask for everything. It's your job to know what to give them.
You know, I have an auntie back in Brooklyn. Her daughter called 911 for her. Something happened and she got arrested. She slept in jail. I think she scolded her child or something. I can't remember what it was. And the police came, and when she was eventually released, you know, I'm not sure if there was a court case or whatever, but you know, she felt so hurt, like my child got me arrested. You know, which is what you're saying concerning the fact that you posted on social media. Yeah. You know, but eventually, I mean, now fast forward, she and the child, they've reconciled, they're back together, but you can still remember the fact that yes, you did this to your mother. Now, in this situation, can this child still be redeemed in the sense that you've done something like this? Because she might not even understand the gravity of what she did. At the point she's posting it, she's like, hey, just look at my mom, the parents doing this. But now the whole of Nigeria is having a conversation concerning your parents.
Yeah, okay. Morayo, The failure you see outside has started a long time from home. Sometimes we overlook some things, and we, either because we're too busy to really take time to handle it, or we just feel this is a child, they will outgrow it. We overlook some behavior. Some of these tantrums and this rebellion that we see starts from the age of 2 and 3 and 4. And we allow it sometimes to, because after all, they're still kids, they're still little, they are still home, don't worry, they would get to the point. Then when you get to a point where the child is now 18, 19, 20, and the child is embarrassing you outside, that's when you are now frustrated. But you have missed out on what you were supposed to start doing early. Children always exhibit early. Sometimes they show in little things. They test their boundaries. They try you today, you don't answer, they will do a bigger one tomorrow, you don't respond, they will do another one tomorrow. So at what point do we know when to start seeing these tendencies and start nipping it in the bud in little things? So please, I will still say it here. I disagree with what the girl did by posting, you know, this information and all that. And I want to believe that this is not the first time this is happening. Maybe this one just blew. She has shown those signs before and it was not picked on. So now it's big and everybody is talking about it. But we need to pay attention to when these kids start tweaking and doing things wrong and not feeling, I hate when I hear, it's a child, don't worry, he'll outgrow it. He will outgrow it. Some of them never do outgrow it. So we must begin to pay attention. Parenting is not a walk in the park. It's a lot. And that's why sometimes I'll ask myself, if I know what I know now, should I have had children? Should I have had just one? So that I know that I put all my emotion and everything. Because sometimes you think you are giving all, but you're really not giving. You are busy with one activity, one church, one this, one that. And those kids slip. Another thing is, why I also do not agree with the choice of words. So I'm good with chastising, I'm good with punishing, I'm good with everything that you can do to raise your children. But I'm very particular about some words because I realized growing up that some of us had to be two-faced to survive in our homes. Because when you ask, they will shut you down. So you stopped asking. You became the good girl in the house, but you're not the good girl outside. And I grew up with, I had a friend, I've mentioned this before, whose parents were so, they communicate, they understand. She was free to bring friends home. She was decent till the last time I saw her. She was well-behaved, well-mannered. Her father never lifted a finger on her. They never insulted her. I was collecting double every blessed day. There's no day they don't beat me. There's no day they don't insult me. There's no name they've not called me. And that also formed my personality growing up. I was always fighting. I will fight in school, I will fight at home, I will fight everywhere. I became a fighter. That formed my person, right? And I look at that girl today, that girl was well-behaved, well-mannered. That girl had more compassion that I could understand because I didn't receive compassion at home. I never got compassion at home. So I'm not saying spoil your children. I am saying there are ways you can communicate to these children so that you don't further damage what you think you want to help.
Let me take this call from Kadiri. Thanks for calling, Kadiri.
Yeah, good morning.
Social media comments, please.
Good morning, everyone. You can hear me?
Go ahead, Kadiri, you're live.
Hi, good morning. What's up?
I'm having issues. I'm sorry. You guys have not answered the question I asked earlier. I'll let you also. The question that, at what point do you leave a rebellious child alone?
Well, I did. I answered it when I said to you there are definitely different tools for different age, and I said to you that some parents will start off by, being involved like this, especially Nigerian parents. You hear, I beat him, and then he never did that again, or I beat her, and then you go to the point where you're constantly advising. I remember when I was primary school, there was this particular boy that his parents will always bring him. Will always come to school to report him for something he's done at home. Many times they were on his case. But, when we had all grown up and everything, when I see him walking around by himself, nobody around him, I'm just saying, they are different. And then when you become an adult, the most you hear parents say is, I will pray for you, And then I said that in case where you're unable to do anything, which I find is a sad situation. And you are now become the 40-year-old or 45-year-old that just refuse to learn, but then you have children. You find parents now parenting that child. So sometimes...
Their grandchildren.
Yeah, their grandchildren. So in society, we see them now. We see people that we know that they must have been problematic from when they were growing up, and they refuse to learn and see how they have turned out. So we have those. But I was going to talk about this empathy, sympathy, emotional intelligence. Yes. And I want to say that, in my own opinion, I think I'm seeing less and less of that amongst children. Yeah. I'm seeing less and less of that amongst when we hear people's stories and people describe children or their children, when you see videos of teachers and children in school. And and that one, I'm going to put it to parenting. I have 2 children. There's one that she just needs to look at your face. She gets it. She quickly asks, how are you doing? There's one that just when he enters the house, his business. His face is right in front, and then he tells you what he wants to tell you and go. But maybe because empathy is a big thing for me, I try as much as possible to bring his mind back to, you have seen you've just seen a situation. This is how to respond to it. Don't just walk away. Don't just think it's none of my business. Your parents, because they are there to always provide for you, they're providing for you. When they're unable to, because you feel entitled to how much they've always done for you, you're upset, you're angry because they are not doing, they're not doing as you expect. You're in school, you see all your friends, they have this, they have that. Materialism has become the norm. And then because your parents can't do it, you don't feel any empathy or sympathy to the reasons why. And there's no appreciation for what they can do. We need to let children understand that it's okay for when your parents are unable to do something. It does not define you as a person, because we're seeing that a lot of materialism is defining people. The iPhones and the clothes and the parties, that's not what defines
that's an angle
you.
of not touch. Let me pause you for a second, because let me take Fauzia, then I'll come back to the issue.
Meant to give you.
Fauzia, thanks for calling. Hold it.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
So, regarding the ladies' issue, like my people will say, like this Yoruba people will say, it will get to a period, like you'll be telling a child, don't kill me, don't kill me. To get to a period whereby the parents will tell that child, don't kill me. At a time, it will be, don't kill me, this child, don't give me. It will reach to a point where the parents will tell that child, don't kill yourself.
Absolutely.
We have tried. These parents, you can see these parents have tried, go to school, do this, you can see the anger. These are parents that want the best for that girl. Okay. So I disagree with the choice of working. No, I'm not saying the way they say no, I disagree with you. But I can see these parents just want the best for her.
Okay. Thank you very much.
That doesn't
Okay. I was going to finish up with Mariam, because she was talking about this iPhone, the pressure. The pressure of you want to get this. Teenagers have that. Where, and you come from a home where your parents don't understand your needs. Why would you want to do makeup? Why do you want to have hair? But an 18-year-old in university, for that person, it's important for us to look a certain way.
Mariah, can I jump on that?
Please.
So my counsel is people who do marriage counseling, sometimes they tell them things that are to come. And they prepare their minds, because it's like you're just going into a black market, you don't know your spouse, so they kind of prepare your mind. But nobody prepares us for parenting. We just get in there, and as generations change, we see different. The children will just be showing you different vibes, and you'll be wondering that this same child, So what I think is, from the beginning, if parents have family values, not implied, expressly written, and that's what the children grow up with, nobody will be afraid of trends. There are so many things that happen outside that some other parents will just watch us and wonder, because they have children who have risen through the teenage stages and nothing happened. And that does not mean they are angels or they were not firm or firm. They could have been firm. They could also have used other means. I am from the school of thought that you have to be firm. I like rules. I like process. I don't want a child to come and teach me my job. So I like to introduce it. I instruct before I correct. That's my own policy. And then I instruct before. I don't wait until there's an offense before I correct it. I have to. I and my husband make sure. Because when you instruct, the children do not think you are in a bad mood or there's something wrong. They can ask questions, and it's clear. So when it happens, they say, we saw this. You lay the rules. I don't wait until there's an offense. I'll say, I try to be proactive instead of reactive as a parent. So if parents understand family values, and they have shown those values. Those values are words, they are attributes, but they are expressed in many ways. The way you show compassion in your home might be different from how I'm going to do mine. Responsibility to you might be different from how I will teach my children. So if we do these things, then we will probably not fall victims of whatever the society is speaking. And to answer your question, I don't think there is ever a time that a parent should say, I'm done with this rebellious child. Go. I don't.
Please. Well, that's what that lady was saying. That when in Yoruba they say that way, don't kill yourself, don't kill yourself. After, I mean, Nicole, don't kill me, don't kill each other, don't kill me. After a while,
you say, don't kill yourself.
Yes. It's not about me again. It's about you.
About
you better sort yourself out. I'll come to you, Mrs. in a second. Let me take this call. Hashnag. I'm not sure. Ajang. Thank you for calling. Ajang from Nasarawa. Thanks for calling. You're live.
Okay. Hi, Noranyo, and all the ladies in the house.
Yes.
I want to actually appreciate you all for the good work you're doing.
Okay.
I want to say I watch my views, and I'm always proud of you people. Your opinions are always very valid and educative to me. I just want to say a little concerning this video because I watched it on Twitter and I watched the video over and over again. I personally feel that the girl in question versus the parent, there is too much of gap existing between them. In that the girl does not even know the reality of her parents. Neither does she even understand the time in which she exists. At least I've spent 3 decades on earth, and the kind of father I have made me to realize that I need to go extra mile to have my peace. But I expect in the time where my father told me twice that your GPA decides the fate of your school fees. You know that I started in high school, but I made it today and I look at it, I'm like, look, my father wasn't just read it, but he let me to understand where he is what I have to become. I cannot have the character or the mindset of being my father if I even had the phone, even if I become 50 years. I cannot do it. It can never happen. I know the kind of father I have. I'm talking of a father who is a classroom teacher, who will feed my sister to hell for producing a daughter. He is very short. She says, this is not you. I know you. And you have to prove to me that you did not cheat. So I think the gap was too much.
Thank you very much, Ajahn.
In actually bringing up the girl.
We didn't hear you very well in the studio, but I'm hoping our viewers heard you properly. But thank you very much for your
So what he was saying is parents should know their children. They should create avenues, opportunities to know the capacity and capabilities of their children. So it doesn't come to you as
a shock.
You know, yes, you should know.
Sometimes they know. As I told you guys the story, when my mother sent me cream, I told you now, this is a bleaching cream. I was a young person, I was 17, 18, you know, in that stage where you wanted to look pretty. My mom would talk to me, and I'll feel like, oh, I'm getting really dashed, and I'll send you cream. You have to use cream. I'm not putting cream in the fridge, you know. My brother was like, in my house, you are bleaching. In my house. My brother. You know, because I was blossoming, I just wanted to look a certain way. And he said, you cannot be using cream in the fridge. That means you are bleaching. That's me, because I feel like, just focus on your book.
Yes. I'm happy that you brought that up because the last parents-teachers meeting we had in my daughter's school, you know, it was a conversation where it says that parents are forgetting that you had those pressures when you were growing up, and now that your children are getting out that age where they are, you know, wanting some things, wanting to belong, you are wondering where it's coming from. Cast your mind to when you were at that age, what were the pressures? But you see me, I always say that maybe because of the way I was as a child, mommy, you can testify, I was such a fantastic child. Because of the way I'm just using this as an example, not, you know, to heal myself. I felt that as a child, I was very empathetic and sympathetic of the fact that my mom didn't have a lot.
Yeah.
And I was very careful. I did not put my head where it did not concern me. I did not dress the way, you know, I understood. Yes, I understood where I was coming from, what I needed to do, and I stayed in my little corner and I did it. And so now that I'm a mother, I'm expecting that my children would be like me, you know, understanding. And then I didn't need to be told too much. I didn't even need to, no one needed to sit me down to give me the conversation. I could see her around. My mom was waking up at night to go to work. I would not see her and had to take my own sister to school. So I sort of, because of what we didn't have, I built some strengths, I built some habits, you know, that helped me survive. So I'm looking at my children and thinking, I don't expect my child to be swayed by pressure. I expect that it should be, my blood runs through them. But the truth is, their father's blood too will run through them. I don't know what sort of, but I'm having this conversation with them. But imagine having all this conversation, the way I've been raised and everything, and my child still turns out to want something else. It's not because my child is misunderstood. Is it, I'm asking, would it that because my child is misunderstood? Is it that because I did not do my job?
We have to wrap up. Let me let you jump in finally.
Any child can want what they want. Your job is to redirect as a parent. Right now, I can't afford this. Can we focus on this? These are, draw up a table. These are the needs, these are the wants. Right now.
And the child says, no, I don't care about your needs.
Then go work for it. Go and work for it.
Then you put your social media where you're telling me to work. You got to see with them. They say I can't work. I'm a child. They want to go and work.
Put you on TikTok. Put you on TikTok.
Mommy wants you to go and work.
TikTok. I'm in Nigeria. No police will come and carry me. Go and work for it.
No, not that you are wrong, but we're saying that there are some. I want us to recognize that there are some children that are wrong.
Yes. So you will follow a child how they present themselves. They are rebellious children that they kicked out of the house in secondary school.
Yes.
They drove them out. So this question you were asking, when do you follow the child? At what point do you give up? Once you become an adult, that's what I always says, your success is for you. Your failures are for you. The money I'm making today, how much am I giving my parents? It's me and my wife that are chopping it.
Yeah.
So if you go and decide to useless yourself, it's you and your wife that will bear it.
Yeah.
It's you and your husband that will bear it. I will only give you my prayers as a parent.
Simple.
Children must know that they will face the consequences of every action that they choose.
Bam.
And start telling them early. So if you insist you want to have cocoa head will not work in my house. I can kick you out. I have the mind to do that. So hold on. I have the mind to do that. I will not over pamper you and be doing things that you're supposed to be doing for yourself.
Yeah.
We need to introduce our children making money. It doesn't necessarily
that's tough love.
Office working. But I will not shame you.
Yes, yes.
You have a right. Even if my daughter comes to that and say, Mommy, I want a car, I will put a price to it. What are you going to do to get this car? Because I am concerned. No, hold on. Yes, I love them. Because I'm concerned about not making my children have poverty mentality.
Yeah.
I want them to understand that the world is large enough. They can have whatever it is.
I have to run.
If they are willing to work for it.
Let me let you try final word.
Okay, so my final word is parents should start early enough. And as they grow older, when parents have noticed that their children seem to be going out of line, they should increase the conversation gap. They should do everything within their means to see that there's a bond and the children respect that bond as well.
I have a Nigerian answer.
Okay.
Above all, pray.
Hey, hallelujah. At the end of the day, just pray.
Just pray.
Because do your own work. Everything, raise the child the best you can. Use all the tools. After a while, give them to the universe. I love what your husband said. Your success for yourself. Your failure, now you go chop on. Have a lovely life. That's all we can take on today's show. We learned